1, 2, 3.
She doesn't run over.
And add 150.
It's like Samson. I sat in this chair and knocked my head every time I got up. And then
Yes.
oh my gosh.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Stan Adjournment, and it's my honor to chair the State Board of Education for the state of Georgia. And today is our committee of the whole meeting. We have a good agenda, and we have some great recognition today. But those of you that are joining us online, I'm sure that all of you are aware, and maybe the reason you're joining us online is the fact that the traffic outside is even more cumbersome and problematic than usual with all the construction around the Capitol area. So we delayed our start for just a few minutes. We have some very special guests here today, and also we have a group that's here to help lead us in our inspiration. But at this time, I want to make sure that I recognize the guests that are in the room. And if you didn't have the chance to sign in as a guest, once I go through this list, just raise your hand and I'll ask you to stand and identify yourself. We do have a group from Youth Centric, and I'm going to save them for later because they're going to lead us in our inspiration. But I also see that J.D. Harden is here from Cognia. Good morning, J.D. We also have Beth Haynes from Decoding Dyslexia, Georgia. Good morning, Beth. Glad to see you again. Dr. Claire Buck from the GASIS organization, the curriculum directors and instructional supervisors. A couple of very special guests. Mike Royal, a former board member who we recognized recently for his service. He's here to join us in some recognition for some other recently retired state board members. Annie Ginsterblom with the Georgia School Boards Association. Good morning, Annie. Ben Wiggins, Executive Director of the Georgia Association of Educational Leaders, and Josh Stevens with the Page Organization. I see a couple of other folks. Would you just, I know Barbara Wall, you're a staff member, but is there anybody else back there that's joined us that I have not called out yet? Would you just raise your hand and tell us who you are?
I'm Trent Anderson. I'm the Development Director at the Alliance Theater.
Chris Moses, Artistic Director at the Alliance Theater.
Great. And thank you both for being here. We're going to hear from them later on as part of the chair's report. Right now, I'm going to turn the podium over to a couple of special guests. First up, Bill Mayer and also Scott Solana, who are with the group called Youth Centric. And I'm going to ask them to come to the podium and let them introduce their team. Gentlemen? They will also, after their presentation, they'll also lead us in an invocation and the pledge to the flag.
So again, we're Youth Centric. We're a nonprofit here and started in Cobb County. And we have 4 of our college leaders here today. So we're not going to stay up here long because they are the real star of our show and what our program and what makes us totally different than other organizations. So with that, I'm Scott Solana. So nice to meet you. And we'll turn it over to you. Ulysses is going to kick us off. Thank you.
Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Ulysses Flores, and I'm a college leader with Youth Centric. We really appreciate the opportunity to be here today to be able to tell you more about our nonprofit organization and the innovative work we are doing with high school students. Youth Centric was founded in Cobb County in 2020 to help with the increasing mental health crisis among our Georgia teenagers. We want to start out this morning with a time management demonstration we use with high school students, which hopefully you will find insightful as well. We have Amber here that will be assisting me. So the glass jar represents the amount of time you have in a day, 24 hours. We all have the same amount of time in our day to get everything done. These golf balls represent the really important things in your day that you have to do. What are some of these things? Eating, sleeping, spending time with your family, probably for most of you here, going to work and being at this meeting today. For students, it's also going to school, doing homework, or studying for a big exam. Is this jar full? No. These pebbles represent other things in your schedule that matter but are not quite as important. This may be exercising, hitting the treadmill, or the pickleball court. It could be hobbies, or doing volunteer work, or spending time with friends. For our high school students, they might also be in marching band, or play on a sports team, or be in a school club. Now is the jar full? No. The sand represents all the other things that fill your day that you may like to do. Maybe it is watching TV, or a movie, or listening to a podcast. For our students, it may be spending time on their phones, scrolling Instagram, playing video games, watching Netflix or YouTube, or just chilling out. Is the jar finally full? Yes, and we were able to fit everything in our day. Now let's look at what happens if we are to do the same experiment again, but this time we build our day around the sand, the small stuff first. First, we're going to add our small stuff. This is me scrolling Instagram or playing video games for 5 or 6 hours. Or maybe you are binge watching a TV series on Netflix, intending to watch 2 episodes, and you end up watching 10. Now your evening is gone. Next, I'm going to do all my hobbies. This could be spending time with friends or hitting the gym. And lastly, we're going to do the most important things like studying for that big test tomorrow and sleeping. What happened? There's not enough room left for all the golf balls. After playing video games all night, I barely studied for my test, and I only got 3 hours of sleep. If you spend too much time prioritizing all of the small stuff, then you will not have time to get the most important stuff done. Remember how we put our golf balls in first. This is us doing the most important things first. Then we add in the pebbles and sand, which fit in between the gaps of the important things. So for example, maybe a student needs to study an hour and a half tonight for a history exam. Study for 45 minutes and take a 15 to 30 minute break to play video games, scroll on Instagram, or watch a YouTube video. Then study the last 45 minutes. Don't forget to set a timer so that you stay on track. The key to effectively managing your time and avoiding unnecessary stress is to build your day and schedule around the most important things first. Now, we would like to introduce our team here today. I am Ulissa Flores. I grew up in Riverdale in Clayton County, and I'm a graduate of Charles R. Drew High School. Currently, I am a junior at Kennesaw State, majoring in nursing. I am in the KSU Journey Honors College and a part of the Hispanic Latino Leadership Program on campus.
Good morning, I'm Maria Maldonado. I grew up in Paulding County and graduated from Hiram High School. Although I graduated in the top 5 of my class, I was still hesitant and afraid of going to college since neither one of my parents attended or really knew anything about it. The sports medicine teacher at Hiram saw potential in me and started providing me with resources about college, the Hope Scholarship Program, and just helping me understand college possibilities. With her encouragement, I am now a sophomore at Kennesaw State, part of the KSU Honors College, and majoring in exercise science with the hope of becoming an occupational therapist. I appreciate all the support that you give to teachers and students across the state, and it is truly an honor for all of us to be standing in front of you today.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Amber Hutchison, and I've had the opportunity to work with Centric for the past 2 years. I recently just graduated from Kennesaw State University with my bachelor's in criminal justice. I am currently studying for the LSAT with hopes to attend law school and one day represent at-risk youth in court. I also attended Alpharetta High School, so I grew up right here in Fulton County. And when I heard about what Centric was doing, it really struck a chord with me because I had my own struggles with mental health and social anxiety. So being that person that I wish I had in high school for these youth has really given me a great opportunity, and I love being able to give back to my community in this way.
Hello everyone, my name is Onyx Russell. I'm a sophomore at Kennesaw State University, trying to get my degree in finance with a minor in accounting. I grew up in a town called Toccoa, Georgia, where I graduated from high school at Stevens County High School. During my time in high school, I spent a lot of time playing basketball, all 4 years, where I ended up becoming the captain of the basketball team there, and then I also spent a lot of time in the Chick-fil-A Leadership Academy program as well. A little bit more about me, as I like to say, I'm a very high motor individual who was born and blessed with a very competitive soul. I love to learn about new people, hear their experiences, and just what they've been through to get where they are in life. And last but not least, I'm very passionate about youth outreach, youth education, and just young adults in general. Centric's mission is to help strengthen resilience, emotional stability, and life balance skills in high school students to help promote great mental health. So you may be asking yourself, okay, so what makes them so different from other organizations who think about the same stuff?
So our programs were not designed by mental health professionals, teachers, or parents. They were designed in consultation with the high school students themselves. Our director, Mr. Solana, spent 2 years partnering with Kennesaw State University to find a new approach to the mental health crisis in teenagers. They employed a human-centered design process where they worked in person with over 250 local high school students to fully understand the stresses and the pressures they face, how they cope with it, and most importantly, giving them a voice to find new solutions. Our youth-centric programs are a direct result of these efforts, and we deliver the programming that the high schoolers designed. One of the biggest things that the high schoolers told us is that when it comes to mental health, stress, and anxiety, they do not believe that there's an adult in their life that can help them. In fact, we logged over 10,000 responses from these sessions, and not one student out of the 250 proposed that they want an adult as a solution. They want to learn from people who grew up in the same world they did, using iPhones, navigating social media, and facing the same pressures they face in academics and society. So, Youth-Centric hires college students to lead the programs and deliver the programming that the high school students designed. We all work for Youth-Centric in these college leader roles.
So our flagship program is called Match for Good. Match for Good is a 9-week after-school program offered in both fall and spring semesters, where we directly go to students and meet them on their high school campuses. At each high school, we meet once a week for about 2 hours, and we target to enroll around 30 students. We staff with a 3-to-1 high school student to college student mentor ratio. Match for Good promotes good mental health in high school students by providing them opportunities to learn life skills such as resilience, time management, teamwork, life balance, and gaining a sense of community through service. Each of our sessions includes fun, interactive games and activities, snacks, and also the opportunity for students to learn strategies for, again, improving time management, resolving conflict, healthy ways to deal with stress, anxiety, and overthinking. Most of our teaching and our discussions are done in small groups.
We also make it a point to center our program around community service. When students start our program, they're given a survey and they have 25 topics. So we want to make it something that they want to do rather than something that they're being forced to do. They have a list of those 25 topics, and then we match the students to college leaders with similar interest. So for example, we may form a team around homelessness, and Onyx and Maria might lead that team throughout the entire semester. Over the next 8 weeks, the students will design and execute their own community service projects in those areas that they are interested in. And depending on the week, college leaders will also lead them through brainstorming sessions, teach them how to execute their projects, create a project plan, and also assign action steps. Students will earn community service hours through this, which looks great on a college resume, and it really enhances their social skills and gets them ready for life outside of high school. The students amaze us with the projects that they come up with, and last fall our teams were able to successfully execute 13 projects for their local communities. This is another awesome aspect of this program, not only because we're impacting the lives of high school students, but because they are also able to make a tangible impact in their local communities.
Now, if you guys don't mind, we'd like to tell you about one of our previous examples that we've had in the community service projects in the past. We had a team who was formed around food insecurity. And in this group, they had a couple young ladies who in their younger days ended up going to food shelters and places like that to get supplies and meals that they needed for their family. And when they went to these food shelters, they would be given things such as 4 boxes of mac and cheese and 3 cans of tunas and 3 jars of peanut butter, which of course they were always grateful for, but they didn't go together that well. So with this in the back of their mind, they came up with the idea to create full and healthy meals to distribute to different families, all while costing under $10 per meal. So they did some nutritional facts like research and everything like that, and then decided to make chicken burrito bowls. These chicken burrito bowls consisted of canned chicken, beans, rice, salsa, and just a couple other veggies that they threw into the box and distributed into 50 different packages to fill their $500 budget. So along with these packages, they created a video of them making this food themselves and translated it into 3 different languages. They then took this video, made a QR code, and put it on a flyer to put into each package that they could deliver out and show these families how to make the same meal that they made with the same ingredients. So after this was all said and done, they ended up taking all 50 packages and distributing them to 50 different families in need all across the city of Marietta.
So this program sounds good, but what are the impacts? We'll be taking you through A few of the key feedback metrics from the 100 students who participated in our Match for Good programs last fall. 100% said they would recommend the Match for Good programs to their peers.
Okay, we also had a stat where these high schoolers that we surveyed said that 100% of their students found us college leaders to be helpful, relatable, and reliable, which obviously, how impressive that stat that is, we at Centric weren't that surprised, because who wouldn't want to hang out and spend time with some cool college leaders like us? So.
I 100% agree. And 95% learn new techniques to help manage anxiety and stress. And 93% learn new strategies to help address conflict and better understand time management.
Another stat I want to direct y'all to is 90% said that they developed new relationships with their peers through the program. Back when we were originally working with these 250 high school students, to understand their stress, many felt that they were socially isolated and they did not really fit in or have belonging. And that's before COVID, so we can't imagine how much worse that's gotten now, right? By grouping students based on service interests instead of with their friends, it allows them to meet new students who have something in common with, which is a great way to start a relationship. Now we would like to introduce y'all to our boss, Scott Solana, the founder and director of Centric.
So I'm going to wrap up very quickly because I really wanted you to hear today from our college leaders, because they are what makes our program unique, and they are really the heartbeat of everything we do at Centric. We have 21 college students working for us this semester to run all our programs, and I hope you've been able just to see the impressive talent and passion and drive these students have. It's such a pleasure to work with all 21 of these students. I'm a CPA, and so for 23 years, I was right down the road at CNN Center, kind of leading all the finance and accounting for all the Turner Broadcasting networks. And so I can't leave today without talking a little finance to kind of give you an update. So we launched our first programs at 2 high schools in January in 2023. 1 month later, in February, right after we started, we were awarded a 3.5-year grant from the Cobb County ARPA program for $375,000. And this has been life-changing for our organization. And our board and I will always be grateful for Cobb County for really prioritizing youth mental health and investing in us. And then 3 months ago, I was down here at the Capitol in the other tower, and we were awarded $328,000 grant from the Georgia Opioid Crisis Abatement Trust, which is going to allow us to expand our programs into Cherokee, Bartow, and Paulding County schools. And so next fall, we are anticipating hiring between 35 and 40 college students, and we're going to be doubling the number of high school students we impact. So what's next? Well, we want to expand our programs across Georgia. We have a program that works, and we have developed an operating model that's ready to travel. For example, we would love the opportunity to go to Savannah and be able to start our programs in Chatham County schools and hire students from Savannah State and Georgia Southern. Kennesaw State University, Cobb County Schools, Marietta City Schools, they have been tremendous partners for us over the past few years, and it really helped us kind of refine our processes and to build a scalable model that can be replicated. So anywhere there are universities across Georgia, there are opportunities to hire talented and motivated college students just like these 4 that can make an immediate impact on the mental health of high school students in those communities. So with that, I just want to say thanks, Stan, for inviting us today, and thanks for the board for hearing us. I believe there's going to be a break coming up soon. So if you have any questions or would like to know more about our program, please see me or any of our college leaders, or Bill also will be here. So, with that, thanks. And I'm going to, if it's okay, I'm going to lead everyone in their invocation, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. So let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, just thank you for this day. Thank you for everyone in the room here today. Thank you for everyone that's online. We just pray for your guidance and your wisdom for the board members as they make decisions to really improve the educational experiences for students around the state as well as teachers. We also pray for teachers and educators all across the state today, many of whom right now are in classrooms leading. We pray that they really understand that what they do is important and that they matter. And we also pray for all the students that we get to work with. That is the reason that all of us do what we do. And we just pray for your protection around the students and that they'll receive the instruction, support, and encouragement that they need today. And just be with everyone to have a safe journey home. In your name we pray, amen. Amen. So if y'all stand and join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Scott, and students, Kennesaw State students, thank you so much. I think all of you caught where they went to high school. They're all public high school or charter high school, public school. They're all high school graduates from public schools here in this state. And frankly, just listening to them talk this morning makes me feel very optimistic about the future leaders in this state, because I think you just heard from 4 of them. Yep. But thank you all for being here, and I wish we are going to take a break in just a few minutes, so I hope you'll stick around long enough that we can say thank you personally to all of you for being here and for the work you're doing. This is near and dear to all of us. I think I can say that without reservations. We've had a lot of conversations around this table about student mental health, and it's really gratifying to know that there are solutions like this, and I'm very happy that funders have found you, because I think it is, no doubt, a program worthy of replication. And Frank, you're from Southwest Georgia. You're probably too young to remember this, but Scott's dad was a superintendent down in the Thomas County area, Terry Solana. I remember Terry from years ago, and I'm glad that it was my pleasure to meet Scott, and once I heard about this, I thought we need to all hear about this. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
It is now time for our public hearing. As all of you know, that there is a rule up for adoption. The rule is 160-7-1-.02, accrediting agencies. That rule was placed on the table at our last meeting. We've had the necessary public comment period, and today it is up for adoption. And procedurally, we are required and are glad to give the public an opportunity to speak. We do have one person that has signed up to speak, and he's a familiar face to all of us. This is J.D. Harden from the Cognia organization. And I know that most of us that have been around for a while know who Cognia is and what they do. And if you don't, I want you to have the opportunity to talk to J.D. while he's here today. But J.D., would you come? We'll give you 3 minutes to make some brief remarks about the proposed rule adoption.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, members of the audience. Thanks for being here today. As any adult in this room knows, following exceptional students like that is the worst thing to do in your life. So I'm already setting the bar for myself a little low right now, but you guys did a great job, and it was very inspirational to hear from each and every one of you. Just real quick, for those of you who don't know me, my name is J.D. Harden. I am the Regional Advocacy Director for Cognia. Ironically enough, I'm not here to advocate today on behalf of this rule. I'm actually just here to thank you guys for the opportunity that we've had since this law was passed by the state legislature a few years ago to engage in dialogue and discussion about the impacts of what this means for schools all across the state. We are extremely appreciative of the relationships that we've fostered over the years with members of the state board, former members of the state board as well. And even more importantly, we're extremely proud of the relationships that we fostered with schools and districts all across the state. And I think that you've seen, and I've had conversations with people even yesterday about the important work that goes on each and every day and how we get to partner with them. What I want to do real quick, for those of you who may not know who Cognia is, we've undergone a couple of name changes, right? So immediately prior to this, we were known as Advanced Ed. And prior to that, we were known as SACS, or the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. We have been in around now, this year, celebrating 130 years. 130 years. And what we like to say is that you don't stay around for 130 years unless you're doing something right and you're also changing to meet the needs of people that you're serving. And so we're very, very excited about that. A couple of quick facts, and I was pulling some of this information before I got here today. In the state of Georgia alone, we have 33 schools that are now celebrating over 100 years of being accredited. Taking that extra measure to ensure that what they're providing for their students and the families in those districts are meaningful as they continue their educational journey as they move on. But like I said, any business that has sustained longevity does so by looking forward and making those changes. And we feel that obviously the rule that you guys will take up here later today in a formal vote is part of that process. It's a part of that continuous improvement process for the state board. It's the part of the continuous improvement process for our organization, and most importantly, it's the continuous improvement process for our schools to make sure that every student that goes through there year after year has the best educational experience possible. But I'd like to say real quick that while accreditation is what is being discussed in this particular rule, that's just one part of that continuous improvement journey. And we want you guys to know that as a non-biased, nonpartisan, third-party independent reviewer located right here in Alpharetta, Georgia, we don't do this just in Georgia. We do this nationally and internationally as well. And so just want to say again, thank you for the opportunity to come before you guys to continue this work and making sure that our schools here in Georgia are most definitely the best that they can possibly be for any students that walk through the halls and receive that diploma. So that's all I have today. I just want to thank you guys again. And if anybody does have any questions and wants to chat with me afterwards, I'm more than happy to do that. So thank you guys for the time.
That is the, Mr. Harden is the only one that signed up to speak, so I will at this time declare the public comment portion of our agenda closed. I did see that a couple of special guests snuck in the back. I want to recognize former board chair and former state board member Scott Johnson, who's the chair of the Georgia Literacy Council. He's here to help us celebrate three of our recently retired board members. And I also see Dr. Jody Barra, who's the new head of the Georgia Professional Standards Commission. Jody, great to see you. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to now call three good friends up to the, if you'll come up, at least, and come up to the front row. First is our former District 3 representative, Ms. Helen Rice. Then our former District 5, just come on up here to the podium, Helen. And then our former District 5 representative, Kenneth Mason. And then our former District 11 representative, our good friend, Mr. Scott Sweeney. Would you come up, please? I may need some help with this. I joined the board, I'm in my 5th year, and there are many of us that have been on there longer. All of us have had the great opportunity and privilege of working with these three wonderful professionals. Their terms ended in December, and their seats have been filled, and I want you to know that they've been filled by some very talented and energetic and committed professionals just like you. And I think you can sleep well knowing that they're doing a wonderful job of helping us lead public education in this state. But today, we want to talk about the three of you for just a minute. And I can't tell you the number of phone conversations that I've had with all three of you about various issues. And I don't know that personally I'll ever be able to match the commitment and passion that all three of you had for public education and the work that we're doing, because you've set the bar so high for all of us that it's going to be difficult, if not impossible, for us to meet that. But, we're going to give all three of you the opportunity to make a few comments if you would like to do that. But today, our main reason for having you fight the traffic to get here is to present you with these glass apples. And also, they sat behind their nameplate. And one of our traditions as well is to give them a copy, their nameplate, so they can take it back home. It's happening sooner than
Have to be reminded of this.
But we also award each of them with a glass apple. This is the one that goes to our former board chair and District 11 Representative Scott Sweeney. Scott?
Thank you very much.
This one goes to our former District 5 Representative, Mr. Kenneth Mason. And this one goes to our former board chair and my fun buddy on many about dyslexia and reading and literacy, and she remains just as committed to this as she ever has been. Helen Rice.
Thank you, Steve.
Now, so that I don't mess this up, Kenneth, how many years did you serve on the State Board of Education? 14. 2 full terms, correct? Helen, is it that?
2 full terms.
2 full terms for you. And Scott?
5+.
5+. 14 years and 5 in the leadership positions that Scott and Helen both held don't nearly reflect the number of hours that these people have spent on this work. And until I stepped into this chair, I had no idea how much time both of you took and how much time you took away from the Southern Regional Education Board to do this work. It's hard to, you can watch it and it looks like you think you know what the job's gonna be like, but until you get in that chair, you really don't. And these chairs, all of us, I think, would say the same thing. They had no idea. And we have board members that are in their 3rd meeting right now, and a couple that are in their 2nd. And we're going through a new board member orientation with them right now. We met yesterday and talked about budget. We talked about governance. We talked about audits. I'm sorry. Yeah, we talked about audits. And we're just beginning to scratch the surface. So, and Mike, I know you're here. There you are.
I was applauding over here.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, we're taking this orientation very seriously, and I think they are as well. But Helen, would you like to start? And if you've got some comments you'd like to make, and if any shots you want to take at me, I'm
I believe that we treat people like we like to be treated, and I know that. I love you all. Can I get my glasses?
You sure can.
Because most of you know I can't see.
Where's your bat?
My what?
Your Mary Poppins bat.
Oh, it's here, and I have to tell you, I brought a whole notebook on board training that we had, the very last one. I was going to give it to Leonte. I know you gave him the digital, Lisa, but wow, you know, it's 14 years is a long time, and serving on the state board and chairing the state board was probably one of the hardest things I ever did, but the most rewarding. And I look at this board now and some of the board members here, I think there's 6 past presidents sitting among us today, if I counted right. No, maybe 7, Scott? I can't count. Mike told me I couldn't count. But anyway, we're at 6 or 7. So I'd just like to say how grateful I am to Governor Deal, who appointed me, and to Governor Kemp for the term that I got to serve under him. You know, I'm gonna have to put on my glasses because you know I can't see a thing until I look down. And I am thankful to both of these governors for the opportunity of representing the 3rd Congressional District. Christy, I told you it's an amazing district. This third district, from the resources that serve within it to the superintendents, Jody, you were one when I was there. Amazing. The principals, the teachers, and the students. I am so glad that my paths crossed with them, and I got to really experience their work and their leadership. As a matter of fact, the opportunity of serving for 14 years gave me a lot of chance to experience a lot of districts and a lot of amazing leadership. It gave me the opportunity right from the start, and I see Dr. Wall here, to work with you and your team on the pathways. They were very new in the state, pathways that we rolled out across our state. It also put me on the ground floor with charter and flexibility, which, if you know, back then we had a policy. Tiffany, it was under policy. And Kenneth and Lisa and I were on that committee. And so that meant that we spent a lot of time learning about charter and flexibility from the bottom up, IE square and other things, and now what it's evolved. My service on the board allowed me to chair the state board, as was mentioned, and I also chaired during the time that we redid our standards, and we renamed them Georgia Standards of Excellence. Full circle today, Matt. We just finished rolling out new standards in ELA and math. See, that's a long time of what things come around. From the beginning of my service as a board member, we all have the opportunity to work with an amazing group and staff at DOE. Sometimes, some of us, Lisa, we had to ask if we could come, but most of the time, we were invited to come to the educational informational meetings, to the working sessions, to the forums. I appreciate all of you, your staff, all the deputy superintendents, all your staff under you that allowed us to come and see and observe, because that was a time that we really got, and I'm a teacher, you know, you like to get in there and see it so you can really talk about it and experience. Thank you, I'm grateful for those opportunities. On a personal note, serving gave me a chance to meet an amazing group of women, Decoding Dyslexia. And Beth, thank you for being here today. Happy birthday, Tina Enberg. And through that experience of meeting them, I learned about dyslexia through their life experiences. It opened a door for several of us to serve on the Dyslexia Task Force. Finna, Lisa, Ken, me, Jennifer Lundstrom, and a whole group of our teachers and psychologists and dyslexia experts at the state served on that panel. That was pretty amazing to take a law that the governor signed into law, Senate Bill 48, and turn it into a rule. Thank you all for the privilege of having all of us there. Also, the experience to see the work now that is going on with House Bill 538. All of you know that I'm a teacher, and how excited I was to see that pass, because for the first time in our state, we're all going to be teaching reading with the same method. We're going to be teaching through a scientific and systematic approach called structured literacy. And we learned early on, and Marietta was one of our pilot programs, we had 6, when we peeled down the onion, that all students learn to read through structured literacy. And you know what? Every one of us learned that way. We just didn't know it was called that. We just knew we had sounds and letters and prefixes and suffixes and all those things that made words work. But I was so excited about that. And the work that goes on with GOSA and the forming of the Literacy Council, we have seen our former colleague, Scott Johnson, become the chairman of the Literacy Council. And Stan, where'd you go? And Stan and Amy Denny, you serve on that committee. And thank you, GOSA, for allowing us, several of us, I've seen several of you, go with us. We've traveled the state to hear the literacy, to be at the literacy meetings. Why? Because we cared. We really wanted to know. So if someone asked us, we could say, oh yeah, I heard that today. And I appreciate that about this board, about the DOE staff. the deputy superintendents on down, that they allowed us to and wanted us to be there so that we could tell in our districts the important work that goes on here. So, as this state board member, and you just heard, you're gonna have a lot of opportunities. You're gonna have opportunities to go to professional meetings across the state and nationally. You'll have opportunities to talk to agency heads. Jody is now sitting here too, Claire. Those of you, Cognial, we just heard from him. Agency heads across the state. You'll have a chance. I'm gonna get back to my notes so I won't get off. You'll have the chance to go and see our DOE work in working sessions. I encourage you to go and do as much as you can, because this is probably some of the best collaboration you'll see across the state, and you'll learn a lot. So if you serve a long time, as I have and Ken has, you'll come across many experiences in your whole tenure, and I can promise you they will be great. I look over here at Mike Royal, and when I was chairing the board, Mike was my vice chair. So there's still a lot of friendship and a lot of camaraderie, and we all appreciate that. I tried to do my best to represent my district and to keep the focus on students. We all know that teaching, reading, and numeracy are important. And we all know that literacy in reading and mathematic literacy is the key to empowering our next generation. So in saying that, I'm going to ask Superintendent Woods isn't here, but Matt and the staff and the board, continue your work and your focus on literacy. Let's work together as we support the Early Literacy Act. And let's stay engaged with GOSA and the council and the legislators, because new laws are coming up and there will be new expectations for us. Let's continue to focus on dyslexia, reading, math, and let's build bridges as we roll out universal screeners, reading screeners, and coaches. I also would like to encourage my fellow colleagues as board members. I heard yesterday as y'all were talking about charter and flexibility. Bring back that big net. Include those local charters. Include State Charter School Commission, the commissioner, the State Charter Foundation, the chairman of the Charter Advisory Board, anyone that deals with charter. Bring them to the table, because that collaboration of all those agencies that are part of the charter network will make you as a board very clear of how it operates. And I think it will also strengthen our relationships with our districts. As we've always heard from Donovan and those that have been in that position, it really is true that charters are public education. So in closing, I'd just like to say thank you to my colleagues and the new colleagues here. You're in for a real treat. Melanie and Krista, as I told you, and Courtney, and to all of you that I've worked with here and that are here today. Thank you for what you're doing and for your service, and thank you for your friendship. I can't tell you how much you mean to me. Also to Superintendent Woods and Matt and the whole staff, what a great privilege. I commend you all on your work and your dedication to education. It's been a great privilege to have you here and the support that you've given. Now, don't y'all laugh, but to all of you that answered my calls, all you deputy superintendents who encouraged me, came and spoke to groups that I asked you to speak to, had me speak to groups, traveled with me, went with me on when we were doing our public hearings, did communication, helped me with my iPad and my phone.
And your cell phone.
And my cell phone. What?
Expense report.
And my expense. I was very needy. Poor Jerry. Poor Jerry. Thank you. Thank you all for just being who you are, for loving our kids and our students. As a teacher, I've always said, if you want to know what's really going on and if it's working, ask a teacher. And that's what we do as teachers. We're there to support, as you said, the students in our system. So I just ask us to keep the focus on our students and make them our North Star, because they are the ones that we all work for and towards. Thank you. Some comments? Oh, Lord.
Ken, would you like to make some comments?
Oh, sure.
What? Oh, sit. Okay.
I'll be brief, y'all. Good morning. First of all, 14 years is a long time to focus on something very deeply, and I did that. And I was only allowed to do that because of my wife. So I'd like to thank my wife, Tamara, that allowed me to, in a way, really dedicate a part of my mind and my heart to this work. And those of you that I worked with, you know that that's who I am. I feel a responsibility, a shared responsibility, to do, to serve in the right way and to be collaborative colleagues and partners in this work with you and the department. I'd like to thank the department staff from the very beginning. Made me feel welcome in this building, but also with the major challenge that any agency faces when we have 181 school districts. Is that correct? A lot of children, and every period of every day, there's thousands, unlimited, unique needs happening in that classroom. And then once or twice a month, we come here and think about the policies that govern that operation. It's a mammoth task, and I admire you for doing that, and I'm not leaving you in doing that. The mission still remains. When I came in and I saw Lisa, my mission still remains with you. One day, all children in this state, in all states, should have an excellent education. We have to continue to work for that. And every day, your commitment to doing that is special. The value, the result is sitting right here before us. I was floating back there because each of you come from high schools all over our state, and then now you're elevating other high schoolers for your leadership. That's what we want. We want those opportunities in classrooms from rural Georgia right here in the good old 5th Congressional District Metro. Okay? Continue with your belief systems. Take personal responsibility. There's a lot of information that I know takes a lot to decipher, to understand. Some of it may conflict with what logic has before it. But we're here. You are, in a way, protectors, gatekeepers for that quality education in every classroom. And I really value every moment, every moment of those 14 years that I served with you. Thank you all, and continue on.
Good morning. How are y'all today? Jason, I know you hate when the opening starts that way. My only fear that when Helen got up here, and I saw her open her notebook, is that she had several pages. I thought maybe some of them were two-sided printed.
They were just big, and separated.
I can't begin to tell you how thankful and appreciative I have been to get to know each and every one of you. It's been the honor of my lifetime. It really has. Mike, we've had some spirited conversations, but have become close friends over that time. Mr. Johnson, your term as chair preceded mine. Excellent opportunities. Genesis starts off with a single word, and I have to be careful when I say that because it says bear sit. Not to be confused with a carnivore or excrement. You got to be really careful when you say that. But it was in the beginning. And also, if you move fast forward to the state constitution says something about this board. It says, there shall be a state board of education. The governor, as you all know, is responsible for appointing the members. And very, very thankful for Governor Kemp and his leadership in education, and for giving me the wonderful opportunity to serve alongside each of you. When I was first appointed and asked by the governor to participate in the State Board of Education, we had a feeling this was going to happen, and I finally broke the news to my wife. And my wife, Sandy, who, again, very, very appreciative of her allowing me to be and sit here with you, said, well, how long is the term? And I said, I don't know. And to my chagrin, she had already looked it up. And she says, it's 7 years. And I remarked to her, I go, that is not a term, that is a sentence. But it's a sentence gladly served and sadly ended. I would love to continue working with you all. But I now have another opportunity. I am currently working as a commissioner with State Charter Schools Commission. So I know that our paths will continue to cross, and for that, I'm also very thankful. Matt, Superintendent Woods, all of the staff, you have been remarkable. It's been fantastic working with you. You have an enormous responsibility with regard to education. 1.8 million children, teachers, students, families are dependent upon you to make great decisions. Do it together in collaboration, Helen's favorite word, but work together. And having been with you and having spent time in executive session and having spent time in different committee meetings, countless phone calls and everything, I am incredibly confident, very confident, that everybody at this table has the best interest of families, teachers, and students in mind. And for that, I'm very thankful, and thank you for the opportunity to serve with each of you.
I've asked Lisa, as one of our long-serving board members and one who has known these three board members very well, if she'll make just a few brief remarks on behalf of the board. So Lisa?
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I just want to thank all three of you for your service. I remember when I came on the board, Helen and Kenneth, you guys guided me in the direction I should go, as well as Mike and Scott and I, we kind of came on at the same time. And then Scott, when you came on, you and Jason, you guys have brought energy to the board that we needed, and that the new board members, everyone, as you come on, you will make contributions to the State Board of Education. And that one contribution that we all coalesce around are our children. Our children should be our number one thought when we sit in these seats. These seats are not for us to be in an ivory tower. These seats are for us to make sure that our children get the best quality education that they can possibly get. And as Helen alluded to, literacy is very important. If a child can't read, a child more than likely can't learn. And our students, all of them, no matter what area they come from, what zip code they're in, no matter what disabilities they have, whether they have an IEP or 504, dyslexia or whatever, our kids need to be our focus. And I just want to thank you, Kenneth, for continuing in the work at SREB. I love SREB. You guys have really helped us a lot in a lot of areas of education, and also you on the charter, as a charter commissioner. Our charter schools are public schools, and they need to have our love and focus just like all other schools. And Helen, I know I will see you around everywhere. Dyslexia, literacy. Scott, you need to tap this one and bring her on the literacy with you to travel around. But I thank all of you for all that you've done. I thank you for your support. And I thank you for just being inspirations for each one of us to go forward and to do the job that we have been tapped to do. I thank Governor Kemp for his resilience in education and to bring people along who will continue what we need to do in the state of Georgia. And I thank Governor Deal for just allowing the two of you and me to come on. And then I was reappointed by Governor Kemp, so I am just so appreciative. Thank you all so much. I love you. I love your family. And every time I hear drop the beat, the bass, I say, oh, that's got to be Scott in the hallway. So I just thank you all. And you know I love your kids. I'm going to have to see them. They're my kids.
She thought I was going to bring them with us this morning.
I looked at them, I smiled, and then I dropped my head. I said, where are my babies? But they're in school learning, as they should be. So I just thank you all for being here. And Helen, I'll see you at literacy somewhere along the way, because I'm on the deal board as well, so I'm sure I'll see you
And
there.
you'll all see me with the foundation.
Yes, I will see you with the foundation, with the Georgia Public Foundation. Make a donation if you can. I just thought I'd put that plug in. Okay, and thank you also. I'll see you at a lot of conferences too, as well. So thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. We're going to take a 10-minute break so that we can do some photos. I know that we want to do a photo op with our board members that have returned. Also want to give you an opportunity to meet these outstanding college students. And maybe we can, if you're willing, we'll do a photo op with y'all as well. And we'll reconvene at 10:25. So we'll stand in recess until that time. Thank you. right, board members. A lot of pomp and circumstance today, but I hope you'll agree that it was well-deserved and a good time for it. But it is now time for us to develop our committee agenda. And to develop our consent agenda. So I will now call on the various chairs of the committees to let us know which items on their committee agenda will be moved to the consent agenda and which must be pulled for a separate vote. And I'll start with the budget committee, Mr. Benton.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I recommend that items 1 through 8 be moved to the consent agenda.
Items 1 through 8. All right, thank you very much. Rules Committee, Mr. Griffin. Let's move on. Let's go to district flexibility and charters. Ms. Zoller?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we're moving items 1 through 10 to the consent agenda.
1 through 10. So that's all of them,
That's
right?
all of them, yes, sir.
All righty. Mr. Donaldson, how about executive session items?
Mr. Chairman, I make a recommendation to move the following to the consent agenda. The individual student waivers, the minutes of the February 19, 2025 executive session, the minutes of the February 2025 State Board meeting, the March 2025 personnel report, and the March 2025 legal report, with the exception of 2 legal appeals that are being pulled for a separate vote, 2025-15 and 2025-22.
All right, everybody get that? Are we getting this over here? Staff, we're good? Well, Mr. L, you're the vice chair of the, I mean, Rich is the vice chair of the.
There he is, Frank.
Sorry to put you on the spot, Mr. Griffin, but Mr. Griffin, would you now let us know what items on the rules committee agenda need to be moved to the consent
Yes, sir,
agenda?
I will.
Pull for a separate vote.
We will pull item 1 for a separate vote. Items 2 through 8 will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item 1 for a separate vote, and items 2 through 8 for the consent agenda. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. All right, while staff is putting our agenda together, I'm going to call on, it's time for the chair's report, and I'm going to call on our board member, Rich Valadares, to introduce some special guests to make a brief presentation to us. I think you'll enjoy this very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, board. Just when you thought a meeting couldn't get more inspirational, we're going to make it more inspirational today. So it's been a really uplifting meeting, but we have with us today some dear friends, Chris Moses and Trent Anderson from the Alliance Theater. We all know the Alliance is kind of at the core of the city of Atlanta. We love the Alliance Theater, but what I've learned over time is it's not just shows that they put on, and fantastic shows at that, but it's an amazing education program that is just unbelievable and so inspirational to me as a board member here. And so when we were talking to Trent and to Chris, I wanted to make sure that we got them before you to learn about all the things they're doing at the Alliance Theater for the different school systems so we can help spread the word throughout the districts. So with that, I'll turn it over.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, all of you, for your service supporting educators, students throughout our state. I will try and make this quick, but I really do just want to build awareness so you leave this room knowing that the Alliance Theater is a resource to all of you, to all of the students and educators in this state. I'm thrilled that Dr. Barrow is here because they've been a long-time partner when he was leading Fayette County. So it's really moving to be here today to speak to you all. A couple things I always want to start with. A lot of people assume that the Alliance Theater exists simply as a venue to produce plays. And that is so far from the truth. We are so much more than that, and we have a commitment to education that is every bit as powerful as our mission to put on great work on the stage. And the other myth that most people assume is that we are just serving Metro Atlanta. And we are actively in 63 counties throughout the state of Georgia, sending artists out into the classrooms and bringing young people into our building. The three main things that we do with our art form, it's three primary buckets. We believe that every young person should have the experience of live theater in their lives. And we start that at the very youngest of age with professional productions for 0 to 5-year-olds, because we know that the brain at that stage is the most active time. So we really want to inspire those brains at the earliest moments. And we are committed to making this as accessible as possible. Those tickets are free for the target audience, and those shows are built to tour. So we are up in Roswell today. We will be down in Hapeville tomorrow. We tour to YMCAs throughout the state, really bringing theater at the very beginning of a child's life. We also do plays for K through 5 audiences, big musicals that happen on our stage. We tour work for middle school grades, and we respond to needs from our English language arts teachers who are wanting to make the classics more accessible to their students, and we're remixing and refreshing classic work that is in the canon and making accessible on the stage. And the reason we are so fanatical about this, it's not just that we love this art form, but we did a multi-year research study to try and figure out what are the impacts of theater on a young person's development, because those of us who work in this field know that something transformative happens. And we did a 7-year study, and what we found was remarkable. The young people who were coming to the theater were leaving with a greater sense of hope in their own future. They were leaving with the ability to tolerate multiple points of view on a subject. They were leaving with deeper levels of conscientiousness. The students who were attending our field trips had less behavioral infractions, less absenteeism in school. And all of these were the factors that the Surgeon General ticked off when he was talking about the mental health crisis becoming an epidemic in young people. He talked about a lack of focus, lack of hope, despair, bitterness, lack of concentration, the rise in absenteeism. And here we had it. We know that these experiences can actually address all of these. I like to think of when I saw these young people doing their presentation, I was like, the arts are one of those golf balls, man. We think about it as the sand so much of the time, but truly these experiences are essential to the development of a young person. And we feel like it is our responsibility to make sure that it is a birthright for every kid in Georgia to experience this work. And we're taking that seriously. We're actually ripping off the front of the Woodruff Arts Center to build a full-time youth and family stage to make sure that we are that consistent resource so that teachers, educators, families can come there any day of the week and know that there is something there for young people. But we're not naive. We know there are districts that will never be able to take a field trip to Midtown Atlanta throughout the state of Georgia. So we're also investing in working with filmmakers in our city to capture the work that we're doing on the stage. And we're partnering with the great Cox campus here at the Rollins Center in Atlanta to stream that work for free to every student in the state of Georgia. So it really is, how do we make this as accessible as possible so those benefits that I've talked about are available to every student in Georgia. The other area of our operation is the chance to make theater. We believe that working in an ensemble can give you great skills that will help you out no matter what profession you're going into. Most of our work is not focused on churning out the next great actor, but it's about using theater as a way to churn out the next great human being. Because at the core of our art form is forcing people to ask the question, what does life look like from a different point of view? When you are learning how to take on a character, you have to ask those questions, which builds empathy, which allows for collaboration, which helps you with your confidence. And we are doing work all over the state of Georgia. We have summer camps that are happening as far north as Gainesville. We're all the way south in Ellenwood and working in Richmond County as well. So we want to make this a statewide impact. And I'm thrilled to announce we're also going to offer summer camps for the entire city of Refuge this summer for the first time. And the last piece, and this is the one I think is most applicable to all of you, and it's probably the least visible, but arguably the most impactful, and this is the work we were doing in Fayette County with Dr. Barrow. It's how do we use theater to advance other disciplines in the school system? And we do that through our Alliance Theater Institute, which is sending artists out into the classrooms throughout the state of Georgia to partner with classroom teachers and train them how to use these tools, particularly storytelling, to advance the goals of their curriculum. Our primary focus, and I'm so glad Scott Johnson was here, is on early childhood literacy. What we've discovered is the more you read about the science of reading and structured literacy, the more clear it is that it is not a natural phenomenon for the brain to learn how to read. It requires this scientific approach. But what is natural and available to every kid is story. Storytelling is how we make meaning as human beings. So we are using that art of storytelling to help young people's brains develop the skills to read. And the research we've done in this field shows that the young people who've had this in their classroom are gaining language and literacy at higher rates than their peers. And my favorite part about this was a 6-year research study we did with Georgia State University. It was one intervention early in pre-K. We had that first semester in pre-K, and we tested those kids for the next 3 years, and the results held over time. So we know that early intervention works. We know that using storytelling and the arts as a tool to create literate human beings is powerful. So we need to scale that. We are now in every single APS classroom for pre-K, every Marietta City pre-K classroom. We're working with most of Fulton County, all of Clayton County. So when I was seeing these young people here, we're in Paulding County. Like, we are really doing this statewide. And I really want all of you to know that this is a resource, a research-backed resource that is available to you in your communities as well. We do scale this up through elementary and secondary as well. Our secondary workshops are focused very specifically on arts and health issues. We're doing a program using theater as a way to mitigate violence in teenagers and using theater as a tool to curb vaping in teenagers. Things I never considered, but once you start understanding that this work is agnostic in terms of content, if you're baking in whatever curricular goals you have with storytelling skills to make the work engaging, it's going to have lasting results. We do professional learning for educators as well. And our last thing I'll end on, I think, is a really fascinating new study that we're doing through the Department of Early Care and Learning here in this building. They've provided a grant to provide innovative solutions to non-traditional childcare needs. And just so you know, the theater world, there are non-traditional needs. Actors work wild schedules, and we've been able to do this for the first time. Any theater in the country, I think you should all be proud of this, that our hometown theater has figured out a way. We are providing free childcare for any actor who is working on our stage, and it's the arts integrated childcare that we're doing out in the schools. So while you see a performer on the Alliance stage, the reason they're able to still do this and raise a family is because their baby is there in our building learning all of these tools of the artist as well. So it's a really fascinating place. We are much more than a venue, and we are here to serve educators and students in your communities. Thank you again, Rich, for this opportunity to talk to you. Thank you, Chairman. Really appreciate it.
Chairman, can I ask a
I think there's some questions.
I just wanted one quick question.
Yeah.
What's the ask to the board members? Because I know we discuss it a lot of times. It's really information distribution and getting into some of these other districts.
Yeah.
But if you could just kind of synthesize whatever the ask is.
Absolutely. Thank you. The question was, what is the ask for everyone? First and foremost, it's the awareness, because again, I think most people assume, and rightly so, the Alliance Theater is simply a place to come watch a play. So to let people know that we are in this business, have been in this business for a long time, and that there is research behind it, and to get in touch with us. There are so many ways. Again, we are committed to making this accessible to people. I'd say also talk to Dr. Barrow, bend his ear about the value of the arts being a part of the district level focus for your educators and students. Yes.
Thank you for being here. I wanted to know, is there a list of different locations you're going to have events Like, is it on your web page or what?
Absolutely. Yeah, all of the summer camp, the satellite locations we'll be at are all listed there on our website. And if you go to alliancetheater.org/research, it will also list all of the high-level research and links to the studies as well. Because I think that makes the case better than I ever could. You know, I've always known intrinsically the power of this work, but to have that empirically proven is really powerful and has opened the doors to a lot of district leaders wanting us to be a part of their work.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments, questions? I know a lot of people around this table have had some experience in fine arts, theater, and, you know, you can either write a play, you can be in a play, or you can attend a play. And those experiences are just as rich, and I think they'd be the first to tell you, a play is no good without an audience. So, just like a concert performance is no good without an audience. Otherwise, we're just practicing. And so I wanted to bring this to your attention. Rich brought it to mine, and I think all of you know Rich is on the Alliance Theater Board now, and thank you for doing this. But this is an opportunity for us, not only to engage with the Alliance and the work they're doing in our schools, but also as a public, as attendees, as you know, as participants. And since we have the opportunity to share this statewide, we hope that this resonates with the people who are joining us virtually, so they can go, hey, maybe we can do that in our school system.
Absolutely.
Because I do think the one thing I learned when we met the first time was how far your reach is outside the 285, outside the perimeter. You're really doing some work in the school districts all over this state. So I thank you first for being here. And I hope that we'll hear from you again periodically. And I hope that all of us will kind of use this opportunity to maybe engage the people that we meet in our own districts and point them in the direction of the Alliance Theater.
Yeah, thank you. Anytime, we are here as a resource, so thank you so much.
And thank you for the literature. I think you put that in everybody's hands as well. Appreciate you being here.
All right, thanks again.
Thank you. Frank, oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, that one extra copy, I think we were gonna try to get it to Martha, but they've gotten her. Everybody have a copy of the agenda now? All right, if you'll send that extra copy back this direction, Frank.
Kind of important for the chairman.
All right, take a moment to look over the agenda, and when you're ready, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda that is in front of you.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Donaldson, second by Benton. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right, the agenda is approved unanimously. All right, next, let's move on to the consent agenda. Take a minute to look at that. Chairs, particularly make sure we've got everything in the right place. And as you look over it, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Ellis and a second by Zoller. Any discussion, questions? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, the consent agenda is approved unanimously. All right, we do have one. Thought we had two.
We have two. For executive.
Yeah, I see one on here. There are,
I'm gonna read them, so they're
okay,
separate.
there should be,
They're listed on the full agenda within that board item. They're just not
oh, I see. All right. We have two items. Mr. Donaldson, would you lead us through the first one?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. It is recommended the State Board of Education reverse the decision of the local board in case number 2025-15.
All right, This is the one that we discussed yesterday in executive session, correct? All right. I'll entertain a motion to reverse the decision of the local board case number 2025-15. A motion to reverse.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Benton. All right, if you're voting yes, you're voting for the reversal. All in favor of the reversal, would you raise your hand, please? All right, all opposed to the reversal, would you raise your hand? All right, the motion fails 8-6. I will now entertain Mr. Donaldson.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
And I know we talked about this yesterday. In favor was.
In favor of the reversal.
Okay.
So if you voted yes, you voted to reverse the decision as presented. To take the recommendation of staff to reverse the decision of the local board. If you voted no, you voted in opposition to the reversal.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to affirm the decision of the local board in case number 2025-15.
So move.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of affirming the decision of case number 2025-15, would you signify by raising your hand? Affirming. All right. All opposed, raise your hand. All right. All right. The motion carries 12-1 with one abstention, I believe. So the decision 2025-15 is affirmed. All right. Mr. Donaldson, do you have another one?
I do, Mr. Chairman. It is recommended the State Board of Education affirm in part and reverse in part the decision of the local board in case number 2025-10, and I'll make the motion.
Second.
And a motion by Donaldson, second by Downey. All in favor of the motion to affirm in part and reverse in part, signify by raising your hand. I believe that motion is unanimous, no opposition. The decision is affirmed and reversed as stated in the document. All right, thank you, Mr. Donaldson.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have one last item, that is action on State Board Rule 160-7-1-.02, accrediting agencies. I'll entertain a motion to adopt this rule.
Second.
So, motion by Kennemore, second by Donaldson. I'm sorry, okay. Motion by Kennemore, second by Donaldson. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor of the motion to approve this rule signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? The motion carries. Are there any other comments or statements or we'd like to make for the good of the order before we dismiss? Ms. Petty?
I just wanted to say that it was an honor and a privilege to go with 27 Georgia teachers, administrators, and students to the National Policy Seminar in Washington, D.C. last week. And I want to thank the counties that allowed their people to go in Forsyth County, Gwinnett County, Fayette County, Atlanta Public Schools, which had 2 JROTC cadets there. Both those females were amazing. Fulton County Schools, Butts County, Wayne County, Clinch County, Morgan County, Chattooga County, Berrien County. I also want to say that thank you to the school systems, but also I want to thank Georgia Business Education Association. They paid for 2 participants to go. Georgia Association for Family and Consumer Science paid for one teacher to go, and Georgia's School Special Populations Career and Technical Educators affiliate, they sent one participant. So thank you to the school systems, thank you to the superintendents, the principals that allowed the teachers and students to be out of your building. From the time I got there on Saturday until I left, the positive connections between teachers and students from across the state was amazing. They made 12 capital visits to different offices. It was a great thing, and I thank you, because I know in today with budget constraints, it is sometimes hard to let them go on these important meetings, but they represented the state of Georgia very well.
Anyone else? Ms. Kennemore?
Had the opportunity to be a judge for DECA here in the Metro Atlanta area. I met so many wonderful people from all industries across the state, and hundreds, if not thousands, of young people aspiring. And it was just so inspirational going through the interview process with the young students and some of the innovative ways that they did their interview. One young man, he created a little hand card, his business card, and put a little stick person on it, his name and everything. It was just very inspirational just to look at them and see them do that. Also, like I said, all charter schools are public schools, and I was able to go to the Georgia Charter School Association conference that was over here in North Atlanta, right at the Marietta line. And it was very inspiring to talk to the different charter school leaders there and the aspiring charter schools, and to hear some of the challenges they have in trying to establish their schools and to find buildings to house their schools, and to hear about over 20,000 students on the wait list just trying to get into charter schools. So that was very inspirational. And just, if you have an opportunity to go visit a charter school in your district, if you have one, please do. And if you don't have a charter school to visit, let me know, and I will set up a visit for all of us to go to a charter school to visit, just so you can see the operation of these schools that are a needed part of our educational process.
I just want to say something real quick in regards to the overwhelming amount of athletic talent in my district. We've had several football champions, and most recently, we had roughly 5 teams to go to the state basketball championship. Nice. Wow. One of which is my alma mater, Creekside girls. It went 32-0. Oh, wow. Congratulations.
That's incredible.
My girls made the finals in 2A.
Okay, nice, very nice.
And they did not pull off the win, but they were amazing.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. In 2A, we only the majority of the team's coming back.
The competitive spirit's coming out. This is a very much a kumbaya board meeting today. Now we're starting to throw gauntlets down. So I think I probably asked for an adjournment. I want to remind the board before I do this and the public that we do not have a regularly scheduled meeting for April. But all of you veterans know that what that means is that May is going to be a very packed agenda. That's the end of the school year. And many of you do this already, but if you have the opportunity to visit an awards night or one of the end of the year celebrations in your district, don't miss that opportunity to get an invite, because there's a lot of wonderful celebrating going on. And we heard from our charter districts that were up for renewal, and you hear about all the great things that are going on. Great things are going on in school districts, large and small, urban, suburban, and rural, all over this state. And I remarked yesterday in a casual conversation that it's unfortunate that sometimes we're more known in this business for our failures than our successes, because the standard is so high for us. I remember years ago hearing a presentation where our business was kind of compared to being an air traffic controller. You know, the expectation is that they land all the planes. And 99% success rate is not acceptable in that business. It's gotta be 100. Well, and I know a lot of us feel, and I know a lot of us at the district level feel like that's the standard that we live in. And I'm happy to report that, and you heard from them yesterday, there's a lot of wonderful work going on all over this state. And so we want to celebrate that, give them the time, and make sure that we connect them to organizations and agencies that can support that work. But in the spring of the year, there are a lot of celebrating going on. And so if you have the opportunity to attend one of those, please do it. I think you'll be better for it. I look forward to seeing you all back in May, if not beforehand. If hearing no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I have a motion and a second. Any opposition? All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.